It's really in about a year and a half as the success came in, but the 4 to 5 years was all just the battling and the losing money and learning and educating and getting into coaching programs and just different masterminds that, and not always the ones that cost the most money were the best. And that's us.
So, I mean, if you reach out, I don't know if you want to tell them that, it'd be cool with an introduction. That'd be awesome.
Like a long time ago, I was in the restaurant industry, serving, bartending, bar managing, just to kind of get the jits out of there. And then I did commercial financing, which I'll be helping out a few people, Vinny and some others here with the commercial financing. Been doing it for a while, especially in Florida. We have, some good lending operations. A lot of people went, their budgets and labor were over, insurances went up and everything. So I just got to make sure it makes sense. And some people, when they're building like 10 assets at once and like slow down, with my hoteliers or anybody, so that's one thing that we're good at. Is I've been on the financing for 11 years on the commercial side. And during the financing, I've been on the consulting part and like, hey, who's managing your properties? Who's there? Who's here? And, slowing it down, consolidating debt. And that's when I knew I really wanted to, be an owner operator, and I'm coming back and I'm making $30,000 on a sale. And I turn around and the personal finance statement goes from 1 million to 3 to 5 to 7. And I'm like, I'm making, some decent money, 20, 30 grand per sale or for finance. And then I'm like, man, these guys are just upping it. And they're just blowing money. I'm like, I'd love to be able to close on an asset, help others out, help people that, they're in poverty. And I'm a big giver to other people in other countries and homelessness and just everything. But I mean, so yeah, I've been doing the investing side now. I've been in it for like 4.5 years.
Yeah.
And then, I would say failed at it in 1920. That's one good part of the story. I, failed at it. We raised capital. COVID happened. We couldn't raise capital with the crap. We had lost our earnest money because they wanted extra money reserves. And then really, like I said, couldn't raise money, didn't have it, had a whole new team, lost our money. And then we had to pay our security attorneys like $7 grand, lost our earnest money. And pretty much just, from there, in COVID, we just did like everybody else did and kind of, changed everything. In 19, I did really good on the commercial financing side. I crushed it, making up money, but I wasn't there for the family. So then when COVID happened and, we're all staying inside because nobody can go outside, they're going to die. Deal. And so it was one of those things that we were inside and I was with my family. So like my family got to know me a little bit more, and I have a wife and 4 kids. So of course, we're with the kids more often. I'm doing stuff with them. We're playing games and, I've been doing hotel finance. My hoteliers are not doing well with their businesses unless they're in the mountains or the islands because it was, secluded. But yeah, man, it was a really good learning experience to me to go back and be a little bit more humble again, spend family time. And then ever since then, if you see my post or anything else, I do Daddy-Daughter Day usually every Thursday. We had a few days during 4th of July, and I'm going away tomorrow, but almost every Thursday we do Daddy-Daughter Day, hang out with 3 or 4 of my kids and go do breakfast for like an hour and a half and ask them, how their day was, how their week was, just good things, bad things, anything you need to talk about, everybody good. And then I try to take my kids like, one at a time to, get coffee or one at a time to go do errands. So I'm like spending one-on-one time with them as well. So that's one thing. And then just with my wife and I just doing more dates. So
big.
But yeah, man, doing more dates because it's one of those things. You have kids and everything. I mean, you get married, you have kids, and all of a sudden, what do you call it? 10, 15 years later, you go out and you're like, oh crap, hey, and you're 40, 50 years old with your wife, and you don't know each other, you haven't dated, went out, and you just did stuff for the kids, and now you gotta start your relationship all over, and usually you get divorced.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're trying, working on it. We're not working on divorce, we're just working on going out and working on dating more and working on being stronger. People are like, oh man, you guys have a great relationship. I'm like, but it's cool because people are seeing it, but it's not always a great relationship, but it's things we're working on and everything, and surrounding ourselves around other people that we go to church with and go to school with and our homeschool with and everything. So, we're trying to be going to be a better father, a better husband. And then my buddy's a pastor for all Major League Baseball. So really just being around him and other friends of mine that I have, because they're just big spiritual leaders. They give to the community. They're in, Ethiopia, Uganda, Puerto Rico a lot, and just giving and helping people to become, good fathers and husbands and stuff over there. and just been really, really good to give back. And, I help out Man Up and Go, an organization with fatherless kids. So, just different organizations. And then I have friends that are in these organizations going out of the country. And then, of course, you have local ones, that people that don't have money, don't have food, or, they just, they're not happy with their lives, and they're, in foster cares and everything else. And my executive assistant, she's a good friend of mine. She's been helping me since November. I went to a Man Up and Go, and I was like, hey, what's up? And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just so slammed with work. I wish I'd help. And she goes, oh, I'm so bored. Don't have money. I'd love to help somebody else out. And she's a very organized person, and I'm not.
Yeah.
So ever since then, she's helped our mastermind grow from 40 members to 80, and then it split off the other group. And now we've been back to around 40 again, and started back over about 2 months ago. And then now our group's back up to 86 members and everything. And she's just awesome. She helps out a lot. So just been growing, man. Just been growing we closed on 13 deals.
Yeah.
9 apartments, 3 self-storage, entitlement land, and triple N flex space in Olathe, Kansas, and just growing. So
yeah, and that's in 4 short years, right?
That's really in about a year and a half as the success came in, but the 4 to 5 years was all just the battling and the losing money and learning and educating and getting into coaching programs and just different masterminds that, and not always the ones that cost the most money were the best. And that's us. Our membership for the core is $250 a month. I mean, people are learning more in there than they are in these other masterminds, just spending 30, 40, 50,000 on the credit card at the conference, swiping their credit card with a 21% interest rate, telling them how they can make X amount of dollars when they're losing how much a month on their credit card. And then they're like, okay, cool. Talk to my assistant, Jillian. And they're like, whoa, what happened to Ryan? What happened to this person or that person? And you're like, our group, it's like, hey man, what's up? I'm like, oh, we get to talk to you guys. I'm like, dude, it's us. This is the group. And then weekly calls with us again. And the Saturday call I'm not on, but I get into groups. I spend like 10 grand for one event. For one thing, I did 5 grand for 6 months. And I'm like, where's the guy that's running this? The coach. Oh, he's not on these calls during Monday through Friday unless you have a one-on-one call. I'm like, so there's 5 calls and he's on none of them? So yeah, it's the stuff I go through and everything. And I'm like, man, let's just do something for like $250 a month. We can be on them. We can help people. I'm not good at underwriting, but we have like 7 or 8 people that are really good at it and teach it and go over it. I mean, even as we were talking, somebody's like, oh, this person's underwriting my deal right now, and this person's putting in earnest money. And I got 2 people from the group that are raising capital. So that's what it's about. Just, being that team and help people get their first, second, third, 10th deal.
Yeah, that's amazing. Love it. Wow. And so how many assets under management do you have now?
We have 155 million, and it's right around 750 doors and about 750 self-storage units. And then we're building a little over 1,000 self-storage units and working on a few hundred more units in the multifamily space.
Gotcha. And help me understand, because like I was trying to do the math. Like I still need to understand how the whole, like I understand the GP structure, 70-30, split above a certain preferred return, etc. And so for a GP like yourself that has done this in the past year and a half, like how much has your net worth gone up? Like when you
went from like I mean, depending on where everything's at, because we're like stabilizing some, the insurances went up, so I can say it went from like 50,000 net worth to probably $2 million, and then with insurances probably back down to like 1.5 or something like that. But right now we're getting ready to do a land deal and some other deals, and I'm going to make like a 7-figure payday, and then almost like a mid 5-figure payday. I'm sorry, a 7-figure payday on my side and a mid 6-figure payday. So, once we get that in there, our net worth's going to be, right around the 3 to 4 in the next couple of months.
Nice. And so that's in a year and a half. Okay. That's
so went from about $50,000 or $20,000, or, pretty much nothing in the bank. A couple of times, like nothing in the bank and owing money. Yeah. One time during COVID, we sold our house and moved to an RV during COVID, and borrowed like 10 grand. So we didn't have much money. We sold the house. We got like a 100-some thousand back, and I set that in the bank account and didn't use it, which was stupid. But so that's what we used to get a house and to travel and to have fun during the COVID era.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that I mean that's really cool. And so, would you have a big goal that you were trying to hit like in a couple of years? And Like I have,
Yeah, I mean, and I had a 5-year goal, but I listened to Magic Johnson at an event I was at 3 weeks ago in Tampa, Vic Times event, and I was like, man, I want to get this 5-year goal. And he's like, make your goals no more than 3. Do your 1 or 2, and then do your big, your big hairy goal, whatever it is, in 3 years. So want to get to be where at $100,000 a month cash flow, and then in a few years after that, I'll probably go to like 200 or 300, and see where I'm at. See if I'm not spending time with family, then and I'm making crazy money, and I'm giving money and donating and spending time with my family. But if it's like, hey, my family's not getting attention, then it's not about the money first. So I'll have to slow that down. So I wouldn't have the big goals, but making sure that I'm doing things. I'm teaching real estate to my family. I'm teaching, how to be a good, my kids are like, how come you do this? Or how come you're off? Or how come you get to take me to school? And how come you get to do these things? And I'm like, not everybody, can do this. And that's what you can do in real estate, because I don't have to be in an office at 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. or, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., whatever it is. And take my lunch break at 12 to 1 o'clock exactly, and be back at the office at 1:01 or 1 o'clock. I can do what I want. But I mean, do I take lunch breaks? I mean, I had a lunch break. It was actually my breakfast at like, I think 2:30, 3 o'clock.
yeah,
So, and usually I'm home by about 5:30, which is right about now. So, I ate so bad during this last 3 days, but my breaks I don't take hour or 2 hour breaks at all. I mean, like I listen to Eric Thomas, and he's always talking about, you want to be an entrepreneur, do it, because I don't work 8 hours a day. I work 12, 13, 14, 15 hours a day. But again, getting up early, today I didn't, just because 4th of July and all that, but tomorrow I'm getting back to it, and especially going to the gym later on today and everything. But just having a schedule, having goals, being disciplined, and being in these groups, these rooms, these masterminds, and just having people that, hey man, hey, I'm not doing this. Hey, are you going out late at night? Just all these things to keep us back on track again, because, what good is it if you have, a bunch of friends on Facebook, but you have nobody that's really, your good friends that are, helping you become a, good father, good husband, and all those things. Because that's what I'm glad I got. I'm glad I got a couple of good friends that keep me on track and everything else. And then I'm like, hey, I know you're not really into real estate at all, but, you should do this or should do that. And all of a sudden they turn around, they got a mastermind of 25 people teaching them to be it's called Purposeful Fatherhood, and another program my buddy has. And my buddy's like, dude, you saved my marriage. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, we were getting ready to get divorced. And told my wife I was in a program and everything. And he's like, dude, you guys would help me keep my marriage. And I'm like, dang. So you don't think about it. It's $50 a month for his program. So, I mean, how much is a counselors and all those things of hundreds of dollars an hour and everything else and everything, but and divorce and everything. But yeah, man, just being in the right rooms and, just trying to help bring other people up to where I've been, because somebody's like, oh, I want to be like you. And I'm like me? I'm like, well, what did I do? You close this. And I'm like, I'm just Ryan, man. I just have struggled for years, but now I'm actually closing on deals now, and I'm not any different than I was then, just that I'm, getting some more wins now. That's about it. And it's about team. And now it's like, I'm like, how can I help you? And they're like, and then it's really, you're busy. I'm like, yeah, you're getting our master attention with you and everything else. And, it's not like we're trying to get them to spend $50,000 a year, but $50 a month isn't bad. And we really focus on them, and we try to get them to, to learn how to raise capital, to learn to underwrite deals, and just be better people.
Yeah, that's amazing.